part of our plan here is we don't want to ever allow them to get in this position in the future. And I think the way we do that is we don't build our government around bureaucrats. We build it around software, right? Software that shows, QuickBooks can do it. So could our government. It should be mostly a software thing with people helping facilitate instead of just a giant bureaucratic mess that, sometimes they use software here and there, but really they aren't using the software well because they can't tell where $2 trillion is, right? And that's not just the case in the military. That's the case across the board. And that's largely the reason why they want to introduce this government-controlled nightmare FedCoin to us, where they can surveil it or turn it off, right? They're like, we just can't track our stuff, so we have to use this surveillance coin. It's like, no. We need to build our government on software. We could provide 3 times the services for a quarter of the price.
You're talking about blockchain? You're talking about blockchain to keep a track of pretty much all transactions within government?
Yeah. I mean, it could be built on the blockchain. It'd be nice if it was decentralized, so it's unhackable. So that decentralized autonomous organization style, like DAOs. I don't know if you've seen that, where it's just it's a set process that runs no matter what. You can't just go in and change it willy-nilly. You have to have the consensus among the group to make any changes. And so I think that would help us stop getting hijacked. And I think that would help us track our money in a reasonable way. And I think we could then spend our money on reasonable things instead of this gigantic mess of bureaucracy. And a lot of people don't understand, like the richest people, the super oligarchs of the world, they don't care that it's a giant mess. They actually like that, right? Because they can bribe and lobby their way to the front of the line. And everybody else who's trying to compete with them, all the other up-and-comers, get just clogged up in this gigantic mess. So that's one of the we're big proponents of a software-based government, and that is the reason why.
Then and you also, there's 2 other things that stood out. Tell me if I'm missing anything here. You have the Internet Bill of Rights, and you also have this idea of moving the capital of the country to Kansas.
Yes, sir. So the Kansas thing. And I've talked to a lot of business leaders of Fortune 500 companies about this. So this isn't just some pie in the sky idea. We need to get our capital out of this City of London carbon copy military jurisdiction we call DC, right?
That'll literally change everything. That's like sorry to interrupt you, but that's like that's a foundation. Once you change that, the entire system completely changes at that point.
Yep, and it says, like, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. No exceptions. No sneaky loopholes. That's what it is. Kansas has a bunch of gigantic, has a huge open land space of cheap flat land, right? And I think nothing would send a more clear message to these corrupt dinosaurs running our country that, look, you guys are in charge of fixing this country. You're not in charge of fixing Ukraine. You're not in charge of fixing the Middle East. You're not in charge of fixing Europe. You are in charge of this country right here. And that is where you need to spend like 99% of your attention on, right? So we could build it. A lot of people are like, wait, what? That seems crazy. But if you look at Egypt, if you look at Indonesia, there's precedent for this. The Egyptians realized our current capital is 1,000 years old. It's super crowded. It's a gigantic mess. The infrastructure is difficult. So they are building a new capital city out in the middle of the Sahara, and they're making it exactly perfect for what they need. And everything's in one place, and it's going to work way better. In Indonesia, they realized Jakarta, this entire island is way too crowded. This entire island is sinking into the ocean right now. So we're going to go put it on a different island even. So there's precedent to this. And, it would make it so that this is our capital. This is our constitution. We have something that works, right? Right now, the offices are tiny. The signals kind of suck because it's all stone. We got all these Illuminati symbols everywhere. The air conditioning doesn't work well in the summer. When they go to present, like when they're presenting an idea or speaking on the floor, they have to print out these posters because they have nothing to present with, right?
Like they can't project it. They have no modern amenities to make it an argument.
Exactly. So I figure if you go to DC is already a bunch of museums anyways. Why don't we just add a few more and move our capital to somewhere that it's functional and make a venue that's actually a functional venue for a government?